So I want to touch on the difference between these two swings, and predominantly I want to talk with the difference in these two plyo moves and how it ends up relating to the result that we get off the bat. So on the left, I'll just take us through slowly this little plyo move. I'll do it one more time so we can get a feel for it, and then we'll go to the right. And what should immediately stand out is, for lack of a better word, the tightness of the move on the right in comparison to the left. Now, one thing that we should really use as a tell is the shirt here. So right off the bat, we see how the abdomen is a lot wider on the left than the right. So we're standing in two different positions here. We have two different shapes in the lower half here that's going to create this. So on the left, we have a pelvis that is not pushing into the ground the way that we want. Now, when we're set up, anytime we're set up, we need to be able to set up, number one, first and foremost, within our available space, whatever that is for the hitter. What that's going to allow us to do is layer force down via the shape that we want. Now, ideally, that's going to be a position of internal rotation at the pelvis. What that's going to accomplish for us is what we see on the right. For this particular hitter of this structure, it's going to be an elevation of the contents inside the body, whereas here we see those contents sitting very much down and forward. They're getting shoved into the anterior outlet of the pelvis, where you'll see through this plyo move, they essentially just stay. So as we work this move, it essentially becomes like a hip sway underneath, I suppose, a relatively stable upper rib cage, right? So it becomes more of a hip sway than a turn. So here we have a plyo step that is essentially more of a turn, and it's not like a twisty turn. When I say turn, what I mean is the contents inside of us are able to work around the pelvis, get to the back of that left pelvis, and then get swung back around. And what that's going to look like is actually a lot less than what this is going to look like when everything stays in that anterior outlet. Now, there are some significant differences when everything stays in that anterior outlet compared to when it's allowed to come all the way around. So here on the left, we see, without the ability for everything to get all the way around that left side, we see, if you look at the shirt, we're trying to, so there's a significant difference in the dynamics at play when everything's able to get around that corner on the left side as opposed to when it continues to get kicked forward. So when it's able to get around that corner here, what we're able to capture here is, right here, we're going to capture delay at the sacrum. So the sacrum is going to give way as it comes around the corner. Now, so long as we have the foot contacts how we want, and we're able to capture the shape of the pelvis that we want, which we know we are, given how we set up, we're going to capture a rebound off of that delay that's going to shoot everything back around quickly to that right side, which then has to capture to send up. Now, this is essentially a low effort but high energy strategy for our stride because of the dynamics that we were able to take advantage of. As opposed to here, what we're going to see is, actually, if we look at the shirt, when everything can't get around that corner, we see everything continues going left while we're trying to get back to the right. So look at the shirt through here, and everything inside the body is going to go left, 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 and now, right about here, we'll see it start trying to get back to the right. But we've already, I don't want to say pushed because it's not really much of a push, but we've already tried to push off the left, but yet everything was still going left. So this is essentially going to be a high effort, low energy stride. And what's interesting to note is, because of the length that this impulse requires from the lead side, we're actually simultaneously working a heel drop in this move. And he can't land the heel drop at the right time because of the length that this impulse from the lead side is now requiring. So what happens is we drop the heel, but nothing's come back around yet to get pushed up. So we've come down on that right side. We're trying to push, but there's nothing to push. So we're just sitting there waiting. And then what happens is everything finally gets back around and we get spun out, and we look at that right foot and it just spins right out. Now we have ER from the ground up. Nothing closing this. Everything stays out wide, doesn't get up. As opposed to here, when we're able to get synced up because of this nice quick impulse via the dynamics that we were able to discuss, it syncs up with the heel drop perfectly. And what happens is, bam, gets around, then right away as that heel comes down, it shoots everything up. We create a nice float with the hands, as opposed to here, we don't capture that same float with the hands as we work into the front side. And what's going to happen here, as we work towards the baseball, we can still see actually everything's stuck out on this right side versus very much contained here. This is going to be this on the right is going to be a much tighter move than this on the left. With everything still out wide, we're going to see the barrel drag along a bit more, or a bit deeper, I suppose. So this barrel is actually behind our back foot. As we try and enter the zone, this barrel is going to be working within that space. So again, the ability to create this quick impulse via the rebound essentially in the pelvis to get everything back around quickly, sync up with the impulse on the backside, elevates everything nicely. I'll just play that dynamic through one more time. Plyo step, catch it, rebounds back around, right foot impulse, shoots everything up, and we capture a float. That stretch will create a nice tight move into the baseball. Here, if I can rewind, we don't land the plyo, don't capture the delay, don't capture the push. Everything stays in front, and essentially we need to use our rib cage now to get across because we didn't have the downforce on the left. Everything stays out very wide. We get spun out, can't elevate, try and lift the hands via muscle, can't hold the float. Everything stays out wide, barrel stays wide, catch it deep, catch it a little more. If I can get one more frame, that a little more out front. Single up the middle, great. Home run to left, better.